The following is an AI-based parody, created for satire and entertainment purposes. All voices,
conversations, and scenarios are artificially generated and do not represent the opinions, actions,
or voices of any individuals represented. This content is not meant to confuse or misinform.
All right, gang, we're hopping into another DLC mission. I'm going to get us through Leviathan.
You know, you keep calling these things DLC, but at this point, aren't these missions basically indistinguishable from the base game?
Maybe if you're a new gen, Barack and I played the OG trilogy.
I mostly call them DLC out of habit, but yeah, I figure there will come a time when we stop referring to Leviathan, Shadow Broker, and the like as DLC. After all, there's tons of people who are shocked when they realize these missions were not in the base game.
I guess even I can't fault anybody for that. This mission has like the biggest narrative implications among all the DLC.
Have we met a Hadley before? That name sounds familiar.
There was a crew member on the Normandy back in 2 who was called Hadley, first name Richard. He was the guy who talked about his brother being on the Ferris Fields colony, which was hit by the Collectors. He was also the guy we see get jumped by the Praetorian during the Collector attack.
Which I cannot believe he survived, by the way.
Well, you did say he wouldn't be in Mass Effect 3, and you were right.
Instead of dying to the Praetorian like he should have, he was probably turned into a husk when he reported back to Cerberus.
Their operational tactics. Anything that can give us an edge.
And how did you wind up in charge?
When the rest of the galaxy says something doesn't exist, I take that as a chance to prove that it does.
Well, where the hell were you when we needed you back in '83, Doc?
Truth. Even as late as 2148, humanity still thought aliens were a myth. That was within my lifetime.
Well, 2148 was the year humanity discovered Mass Effect physics, so believing aliens to be a myth until then kind of makes sense.
Pretty much everything that's happened in the Mass Effect continuity happened within this guy's lifetime.
Once again, I wish Mass Effect took place 100 years after first contact and not less than 30.
Is this really worth the time?
Just imagine if this task force had existed 3 years ago when you discovered the Prothean beacon.
It might have if anyone had bothered to listen to us.
Still can't get over the blueprints to the cycle-spanning Reaper-killing superweapon being on our next-door neighbor the entire time.
Hadley, do you have the data?
No. Damn, bro, I think the simple no would have sufficed.
Must have really hated his boss.
I am not letting you kill me with a goddamn Predator pistol. That would be embarrassing.
This is Commander Shepard. I need C-Sec at my location, now.
We might want to call an ambulance and apply some Medi-gel.
Cutscene bullet, Joe. He died the moment the shot hit him.
Transit records show his name is Derek Hadley. He's worked here for a couple months.
Shepard, I monitored a C-Sec alert from this location.
I guess we know who our real friend is. No one else showed up.
At this point, everyone else on the crew is used to guns going off in Shepard's presence. They know we're fine. Except for Javik, I suppose. He probably doesn't care.
What? What's happening?
You just shot your boss. He's dead.
That was surprisingly aggressive of you.
He just killed the only guy who might have been on our side when trying to prove the Reapers were real. I'm a tad irritated about it.
Take a good look. You did that.
We seriously didn't call any first responders to at least attempt to save Bryson's life?
Joe Herta Memorial Hospital is probably backed up, and we don't have the time to get him to the Normandy to see Chakwas. He was cooked no matter what.
So someone else pulled that trigger?
But I would never do that!
Commander, this does resemble reports of indoctrination.
Thank you, Edie.
I knew that, but I felt like playing along for once.
What about that Leviathan Bryson mentioned? How does that tie in?
It's some kind of creature. Our field teams have been tracking it. That artifact came in from our researcher, Garneau. He sent an audio log if you wanna...
Bro is tweaking out.
What's wrong?
Turn back.
What in The Exorcist is this nonsense?
The darkness cannot be breached.
He's completely cooked.
This is the part of the scary movie where anyone with a lick of common sense would turn right around and go home.
Yeah, but we need to investigate this paranormal disturbance further.
And that's exactly the kind of decision that makes horror films 155 minutes long, instead of just 5.
Someone needs to get to the bottom of the mystery. You know, like Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, and you notice how the only brown member of the mystery gang was the dog, and they needed to convince Scoob not to run away using dog treats.
About 20 years ago, the Batarians discovered a Reaper corpse that had died in battle. They covered it up and denied it ever existed.
There was a broadcast to promote the Leviathan DLC's release. This is some untapped content many may not be aware of. Sometime in 2186, Bernard Plim, a self-proclaimed anti-conspiracy activist, hacked the Alliance News Network to reveal his findings about an assumed conspiracy of the Systems Alliance. In his reports, Blim exposes that Dr. Bryson is running a super-secret task force on the Reapers for the Alliance, and he directly calls out Admiral Hackett to explain what they are investigating with Task Force Aurora. He pretty much spends the entire message ranting about how Hackett won't answer his calls, how it's all a giant red flag, and demanding accountability.
Well, his rhetoric is passable, I guess, but it could still use some work.
If there's one thing you can count on when mass extinction is happening is conspiracy theorists screaming into the wind about BS.
Well, to be fair, Blim did kind of arrive at the truth. He lays out all of the information about the Leviathan of Dis starting from when the Batarians discovered it in 2163. And at some point comes across a receipt from a coffee shop that Dr. Bryson used to note about a discussion he would have with Garneau about Leviathan.
The highlight of this dude's career was picking up some receipt paper.
How is he getting away with all this? I know the Alliance is stretched thin, but I'd figure someone would have locked this down.
Eventually, Citadel security storms Blim's headquarters, and he is arrested. He is promptly interrogated and claims to have possibly been beaten and had to spend a night in a jail cell with 5 drunken Elcor.
He's lucky he didn't get crushed.
He claims the Alliance can't keep him silent, but starts begging for money from his followers because his trial will be expensive.
That sounds familiar.
Joe, don't start with me right now. I'm still pissed off from the events of last episode.
Despite his woes, Bernard Plim seems to be doing all right. When he's not trying to undermine the Alliance, he's playing in the Armax Arsenal arena. His name appears on the scoreboard there.
Of course, capital G gamers and conspiracy theories, a tale as old as time.
You're kind of throwing stones from inside a glass house there, Joe.
Map search program in their hunt for Leviathan. It may help us locate Garneau.
Well, I do know where Garneau is already, but for the sake of the pacing, we'll narrow down his exact position.
I don't think I've ever gotten the exact location. I just find a clue or two and brute force it.
In OG Mass Effect 3, there was an achievement for narrowing down Garneau's location to one cluster, though it seems to have been removed in the Legendary Edition.
Why does Bro have this husk head in here?
And Barry, why are you messing with it?
I just want to see something real quick.
Why is it pulsing like that?
Oh man, Barry.
Yeah, I actually kind of regret that now.
Well, if it makes you feel better, whoever that husk was is probably resting easier now.
What even made you want to do that?
In the preparation for this episode, I saw someone claim that the husk head in Bryson's lab will explode if you interact with it. It said 8 times, but that was only 4.
How bored do you have to be to figure that out?
Next time, let's leave things like that up to our imagination, shall we?
Sir, this is Bryson. We know the Reapers are after Leviathan. Studying Reaper hunting patterns could be vital to finding it. That data is classified.
Why would Reaper hunting patterns be classified?
They don't want anyone to know the Reapers are doing more than just harvesting the current species.
I'll keep the decryption key safe. Close to my heart.
It's always some cryptic
To his heart.
What does close to his heart mean?
What if he means literally close to his heart? Like maybe he had it tattooed to his chest right over his heart?
We'd be cooked if that were the case, because I'm pretty sure Hadley shot Bryson through the heart.
Vanguard of our destruction. How's that working out for you, big guy?
That's right, we're tap dancing all over Sovereign's corpse.
Are we just going to gloss over Bryson having a not exactly small piece of Sovereign in his lab?
It makes for a decent souvenir, but we probably should have been using it to test weapons on Reaper material like Rael Zora did with the Geth parts Tali sent him.
What's closer than family?
An interesting hypothesis, but I detect no trace of the decryption key in this art.
I take it Edie isn't a fan of children's drawings.
2186.
You don't see an exact date too often.
Bryson mentioning an exact date here has some implications on the timeline of Mass Effect 2 and 3. In Mass Effect Andromeda Initiation, it said that rumors of Commander Shepard's reappearance on Omega begin to surface on February 15th, 2185.
You mean Shepard reappears the day after Valentine's Day?
And according to the Alliance News Network reports, the Reapers began their attack on the Batarians on September 21st, 2186. As we know, the Reapers made a beeline from Batarian space straight to Earth, so the attack on humanity must have begun around the 21st of September. Since we know Shepard was imprisoned for 6 months, the end of Mass Effect 2 must take place around March of 2186, assuming Shepard turned themselves in right away, which is around the same time Bryson sent that message to Hackett regarding the Rachni.
So if Shepard starts popping back up around February 15th, 2185, I'm guessing to recruit Morden since that's required. The totality of Mass Effect 2 takes about 13 months?
Doesn't Arrival kind of throw a huge wrench into all of that?
The Arrival DLC unlocking after Horizon definitely presents a problem. If you did Arrival literally as early as you can, then it would be possible for the Reapers to strike dead in the middle of this supposed Mass Effect 2 timeline. Though I think it's reasonable to not factor mission timing in too closely. especially since Kenson tells us the Reapers will be delayed for months or years.
But hold up, how does Shepard's death fit into this?
Shepard dies 1 month after the Battle of the Citadel. They're dead for 2 years, so they died February 2183, I guess.
Are you saying the entirety of Mass Effect 1 takes place in January of 2183?
Well, yeah, everything in Mass Effect 1 happens in 83, but everything happening in January seems kind of wrong for some reason.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Barry, but isn't the main mission in 1 called something like Race Against Time? Wouldn't that imply you only have so much time to stop Saren?
That's a good catch, Joe. We really do run it and gun it while chasing after Saren, so I guess it's probable for everything to happen in January.
Did we just theory craft a Mass Effect trilogy timeline?
A very loose one, yes. This is all entirely theoretical, and we could be totally wrong.
Well, if we're wrong, everyone can launch their corrections at Barry. He started this.
I'm completely open to input on this, if only to sate my own curiosity.
Of Ann Bryson's childhood art.
Why does Edie keep talking about Ann's drawings like she hates it?
I guess an AI can't see the sentimental value in your kid drawing something for you, even when it looks like shit.
That seems like a really not good place to leave a decryption code.
Maybe Bryson banked on someone who's colorblind coming up here to snoop through his stuff.
Are all these clues even necessary?
No, you only need 3 of them. And for the record, to get the achievement in OG Mass Effect 3, you have to use all the right clues without using any of the useless ones. The only relevant clues are the ones on Reaper activities, Element Zero deposits, and creature sightings.
So we're not going to do anything about those blackout crimes.
I think we have bigger fish to fry than some people going on a red sand-induced trip.
What about the Rachni activity?
It's obviously useless Donald. In our case, the active Rachni are just the Reaper's forces. But if you did save the Queen back in 1, it's probably the allied Rachni forces.
Oh, right, good point.
Did we miss a clue? There's a gap there.
I think there's a search filter for Prothean activity that we skipped over.
That'd be fucking useless. All the Prothean activity is aboard the Normandy right now.
The galaxy map.
Good. Let's go find Garneau.
Well, that was easy.
We're about 5 minutes out, Commander.
Cortez, we gotta have a talk about you not being available to stop Kai Lang last episode.
That's not Steve's fault. He would have flown over in a flash if the game let us call him.
Could be a good place for Leviathan to hide.
What else can you tell us about this place, Barry?
Oh, well, since you asked, let me open up my handy-dandy notebook.
Why would you subject me to this, Joe?
It might be interesting.
There isn't a whole lot about Mojave specifically. It's just a metallic asteroid, a part of an asteroid belt called Nahata. But it does take us down a bit of a rabbit hole. TGS Mineral Works sell their products to the colonists of a moon called Arvuna, which is classified as a water world as oceans and ice cover 90% of its surface. There are over 900,000 colonists there.
Before or after the Reaper invasion?
Actually, the Reapers have yet to reach Arvuna as they're busy targeting the Balor system which holds the colony known as Calliston. A moon with a population of 1.8 billion.
Wait, Calliston like that cut content from all the way back in Mass Effect 1?
The place we were originally supposed to meet Liara?
Yes, exactly. I'm glad you both remember. Oxygen-breathing habitation isn't possible on Calliston, so the population stays mainly in domed cities. Unfortunately, these cities are now sites for Reaper harvesting as the fleet protecting Calliston has been driven off.
From cut content to Reaper fodder, that's gotta blow.
At least that other colony is getting to breathe safely while Calliston gets cooked.
Some more things about Arvuna. The multiplayer map called Firebase Hydra is located on it. The description reveals that Arvuna was actually an old abandoned Quarian colony which humans took over.
If it was a Quarian colony, doesn't that mean everything on the planet is for dextrose?
Yes, and actually it's a little weird that humans settled Arvuna at all. The arthropods there develop metallic carapaces similar to the ones found on Turians to resist radiation from the gas giant that Arvuna orbits, called Draenor. The human colonies have to be shielded from it.
Seems like it should be a Turian colony, if anything.
I'm guessing the Turians just don't want it. The Calliston Rift is in the Attican Traverse, which as we know is nearly lawless in the area of the Milky Way the Council has somewhat goaded humanity into colonizing.
Yeah, they set us up to take the Traverse and then tell us we were well aware of the risks. F***ass original Council.
And just to round things out here, Arvuna was originally slated to appear in Mass Effect 2 and is even listed in the official guide from the game, but it was removed. Having said that, Draenor does appear in Mass Effect 2 as a planet you can mine for resources. Turns out the Volus have also staked a claim to one of the other moons around the gas giant. This one is called Alahia. It is being terraformed into an ammonia-based world for Volus population.
All right, I guess that information dump wasn't so bad after all.
Sometimes you just got to hear things out.
You know what else wasn't that bad? Barry's takedown of that Scion.
All right, you two are glazing each other too much?
It wasn't that impressive. I just, well, you know, kept my distance and didn't try to melee it.
Very funny.
All guests need to sign in at reception.
They don't seem all too panicked about the brute and scion that were knocking at their door.
I wonder what the Leviathan's plan was for if the Reapers got inside here.
Maybe they would have asked them to report to reception first.
You know what? I think we should turn around and go home.
The hell are you talking about? Why are you being so scary?
Bro, the vibes here are the exact opposite of immaculate right now.
Barry, you just fought a brute and scion back to back. I mean, you have a big fucking gun on your back. You're fine.
Reaper troops attacking your front door.
Are they still there?
I've taken care of them for now.
I don't like the way the dude on the right smiled.
That will be.
For once, Commander Shepard's natural charisma is of no use.
Hello?
Thank you, Caden.
Yes. Welcome to TGS Mineral Works.
How the hell did he know that would get their attention?
Bro is so boring, he decided following the rules would expedite things.
Please sign in.
You don't seem worried about those Reapers. You know something I don't?
TGS Mineral Works is a small to mid-level supplier of tungsten to the galaxy.
We didn't ask Buddy.
That's not what I meant.
Are you familiar with the applications of tungsten?
I don't know the applications of tungsten, but for some reason people are obsessed with having a cube of it.
Some dude bought a one-ton tungsten cube for $250,000 a while back. It was sort of a big deal.
A big deal for the unemployed, maybe.
We have no Dr. Garneau.
Do you need to see a doctor?
I think you freaky motherfuckers are the ones who need a doctor.
No. The access elevator is broken.
And now, we're done. Step away.
Step away.
Why is Bro co-signing like that?
Commander, something is wrong here.
No, really, Javik, did you read that with your Prothean senses or something? Because I thought that was blatantly obvious with how Tweedledee and Dumb over here are acting.
Barry, you seem kind of on edge.
Did I ever tell you I don't f with horror shit?
This is hardly scary.
Yeah, your ass is the one who dies in the scary movie first.
Probably not. I'm the comedic relief. I make it at least halfway through.
Wait, is that why you dropped me side?
I was fine with me side until that f***ass protagonist decided he just had to look inside the closet. All we had to do was just sit there and play cards, but no, we just have to be nosy.
I guess that explains the Get Trooper jump scaring you back in one.
That was pretty funny.
I was hoping we could leave that incident in the past.
Even estimating 60 days for complete global starvation. That's the merciful route.
Absolutely. That's the data to use.
What in the hell are they saying?
I don't think we want to know the full context to that.
I told you this place was freaky.
Is too high.
What if the pain stimuli is applied more quickly?
Interesting. We should look into that.
I think we should probably warn Garrus.
He's right about that. Just ask me what happened to Eritod. I'd be happy to explain how that colony disappeared.
Look at the map. Closer. Tell me what calls to you.
Is this that ASMR stuff people listen to?
Turn back. You don't belong here.
Yeah, a bit late to hide what you were doing when I heard everything.
Should have spent less time looking at the galaxy map and more time noticing the door opening.
Attention. Comm system is offline. This message was not sent.
You hate to hear that.
I think you're out of luck, bro.
Artifacts here. More important than we realized. It's in the mines. Here's the nav point. That's where I'll be. If something happens, I'm attaching a passcode that I hacked together. It'll open any security terminal.
Good thing Leviathan's thralls didn't notice this and destroy it.
Please hurry. Garneau out.
That's Garneau out for the last time.
So, he's still here. Do we have that passcode hack?
Yes. Just input it at the security terminal.
You guys didn't hear any of that, right?
I think they have even less going on upstairs than you do.
Punch in Garneau's terminal hack and see what it gets us.
Leviathan really is ignoring all this poking around we're doing.
If it's drones, try something we're just going to shoot them.
A ship dropped him off a week ago.
Garneau left a week ago, hasn't been able to communicate since, and Bryson didn't try to have someone come out here and see what happened?
They must have really not cared about him that much.
Shepard went missing for like 2 straight days during the Arrival DLC, and no one came looking for us either. I guess days, long disappearances with no contact are commonplace.
Unknown male was involved in an altercation in the mines.
Well, he's dead.
This Garneau human was headed to the mines.
Looks like he was taken to the med bay.
You are in the mineral lab.
That's nice. The map spares us the trouble of splitting up to look for him.
We weren't splitting up regardless.
Are you really that scared?
If you want to split up so much, go find Fred.
I mean, I know where my pops is, but I'll need a shovel if you want me to find him.
I forgot Fred was his first name.
Not cool, Barry.
Oh, calm down. He died like 20-something years ago.
Is that Garneau?
I wonder who this poor sap is actually.
The computer said Garneau was involved in an altercation. He probably took someone out with him.
If you are looking for Garneau, you have found him. I am Dr. Garneau.
Then why are the subtitles referring to you as patient?
Are you all right?
He looks pretty far from all right, and why is it so dark in there? Aren't hospitals supposed to be bright?
What's been going on in this place?
I was doing my research until the incident.
They attacked you.
It's true. But aside from my confinement, I'm fine.
Whatever's going on here, I need you to focus.
This guy is not passing my vibe check.
You're paranoid, Barack.
I need you to tell me everything you found on the Leviathan. Bryson seemed to think it killed a Reaper.
Maybe we should get him from behind the glass first.
It's a myth. A dead end.
Doctor, you mentioned an artifact in a vid call we found.
I did?
And there's the fail. We need to get out of here.
Yes, Doctor, you did. But now we've got Reaper forces attacking, so I need to break you up. We'll grab the artifact and go.
Reapers. The darkness must not be breached.
I think Barry might have been right.
Whoa, bro, you know what? You got it. It's not even that serious.
Leave the artifact. You will not take what is mine.
So does Leviathan's possession also let them make voices sound like that?
That's the last thing I'm worried about right now.
You killed a Reaper. I need your help.
You bring only death.
How the hell did the glass break?
It was probably from the frequency of the voice.
Sounded like our ears were ringing, so you're completely correct.
We're lucky that didn't just totally deafen us, I guess.
Oh no, Barack, it's starting to get dark. Things are getting spooky for you here.
Shut up, Donald.
There he is. Leave this place.
Boys, we need to get the hell out of here.
Barry, for the third time, we have guns.
Well, excuse me, when I hear a deep as voice telling me to leave this place, my immediate thought isn't, can I shoot this to death? It's I gotta get out of here.
Looks like we're not the only ones headed that way.
How come the Reapers are never going in the opposite direction?
Nothing is ever going in the opposite direction.
I'll take Reapers over walking around inside that place around all those freaky people.
I'm surprised to see the 80s anti-synthetic rifle here. It would have been a better fit when we were fighting the Geth.
You know it actually doesn't do more damage to synthetics, right? It just does double damage to shields and barrier health.
Oh, cool false advertising.
Am I crazy, or does that gun not have rifling? Why is it referred to as one?
Funny you should mention that. Alliance Marines are noted as taking issue with calling it a rifle since it has no rifling in its barrel.
Yay, more false advertising.
The AIDA's anti-synthetic rifle is a weapon of Quarian creation, and they shrug away the Alliance's complaints as Quarian weapon terminology simply not translating well into human languages, though the AIDA's does have a bit of lore tied to it.
I knew this would segue into a lore dump somehow.
The weapon is named in memory of the Quarians that were killed during the Morning War on the planet Adas. It was a colony where Quarians had the Geth work in minefields, and when the Geth rebelled there, the small Quarian population on and around the planet were overrun. Surely this place saw total population wipeout.
And there it is, the Geth slaughtering people who definitely had no means of fighting back.
Donald, no one has ever argued the Geth didn't kill defenseless Quarians.
Like I was trying to say, the Quarians didn't let that slide. By the time of Mass Effect 3, the remains of Geth space stations litter Aidas's orbit, and the Normandy's sensors can pick up distress signals from Geth survivors that were left floating in space.
That's just what they deserve.
I wonder if those Geth were recovered after I got peace on Rannoch.
Once retrieved, they probably would have received the Reaper upgrades from the other Geth units.
You're carrying a Reaper Black Star, you know?
I know, I think I'm just going to use it on this Scion.
Holy f***ing flashbang.
Well, that was very dramatic.
Oh, cool, now there's a Banshee.
You know, I think I want that Reaper Black Star shot back now.
Well, too bad. You have to fight that abomination the old-fashioned way.
Hey, Barry, I think there might be two of them.
Oh, f***, you're right. I didn't see that one on the far right spawn in. Now I really want the Reaper Black Star back.
Dropping a Nova in place isn't going to make them go away.
Did I just get stuck?
It looks that way.
I am not dying to this.
You should be glad you didn't fall through the map like I did on Omega.
Yes, Commander.
It is actually so unfair I can't charge up there.
The door unlocked before you defeated all the enemies.
Yeah, I don't think I'm making it to the door with the 2 banshees hawking me down.
Looks like you're right.
I'm feeling a bit lost here if I'm being totally honest.
When all else fails, charge the banshee.
I'm not doing that.
Oh God, it's floating.
Barack, you need to charge something.
Well, damn.
See? I told you charge was the answer.
You did kind of corner yourself there.
For the record, I did try to charge. The banshee was floating, so I couldn't target it.
Wait, there are no enemies.
Looks like the game gave you some pity.
I triggered the next checkpoint when the door unlocked, so I started from a place where I cleared all the enemies. Perhaps dying there expedited things.
Didn't expedite things well enough, it seems.
Looks like the door's power supply has been cut.
We really need to carry grenades so we can just blow these doors open when stuff like this happens.
We'll need to escort it.
We need to escort the drone. What kind of backwater location is this?
Now that I think about it, forget no one coming here to check on Garneau for a week. No one came looking for these people since 2176.
There is a data pad somewhere that is sent on December 23rd, 2178, for a woman named Andrea. Her father is reaching out because she isn't answering any emails, and he informs Andrea that her mother is ill. I'm guessing that sometime before that, the excavation team found the Leviathan's fragment, causing everyone at the mineral works to become its thralls. Then Leviathan had them shut down communications sometime after that final email addressed to Andrea.
Surely someone would come out here looking for them, though, right?
Maybe, but there's 3 things to consider there. For one, Mojave is in an asteroid belt, so good luck finding TGS mineral works without the exact coordinates. On top of that, as mentioned before, the Calliston Rift is in the Attican Traverse. If you're going to come out here looking for someone, you better be ready to stand on business or have some well-armed bodyguards.
And for the third option, people did come out here looking for their loved ones or to check on this business investment, and Leviathan had them killed.
It is possible that other body we saw in the med bay was someone who came here looking for someone. This drone couldn't be any slower.
If only we brought Edie here, she would handle this for us.
I'd even take Liara's info drone at this point.
Cyan is dying really fast for you here.
Well, yeah. Instead of trying to punch it, I had Javik and Caden hit it with the Reeve and Dark Channel combo.
How long are you going to beat my performance last episode into the ground?
Until it's not funny anymore.
That did not go as anticipated at all.
Got Shepard giving love to that part of the barrier.
You keep yapping about how bad I did. Look at yourself.
I've only died a third the times you did.
Look, everyone has a bad episode or two. I've still died in less horrifically incompetent ways compared to Joe.
I don't think that's true at all.
Joe, you literally died once because you couldn't do the most basic platforming during the Overlord DLC.
Bro would not be able to handle the path of pain in Hollow Knight.
Okay, fine. I guess that did happen.
There was also all the times you literally got cooked by the pyro enemies back in 2.
No joking there. Those things were Joe's kryptonite.
All right, I didn't expect this to loop back around to how much I used to suck.
Sorry, Joe, I'm just using you as an example to defend Donald a bit. We've been rough on the guy. And he's been going through a rough breakup over the course of his last 2 episodes.
It is not a breakup, it's just a political disagreement.
That's not what it sounded like when you were ranting at the elusive man.
Sure, Donald's gameplay has been disgusting lately, but look back at Mass Effect 2. Every single one of Joe's episodes, except for episode 11, were utter embarrassments.
I really do not want to relive any of that, thanks.
I still think the Dead Reaper mission was totally unbelievable. That can't have been Joe.
It was him. The only thing that's changed is Joe has grown more consistent. Meanwhile, you've revealed to us that your Vanguard hype was all talk.
Yeah, well, f*** you.
About damn time that Bot took care of things.
Careful, Joe. You're starting to sound like Donald.
Let my darkness infect you.
I've said before, my appreciation for synthetics only goes as far as the ones that are true AI. The drone can get hit with an EMP for all I care.
Oh, f***.
Alenko is over there getting a headache.
Nah, screw this. I'm hauling ass.
You better move quick.
Oh, God, it's on me.
You're lucky it can't teleport through walls.
All right, that's enough of this freaky-ass place.
That artifact, it's...
Like in Bryson's office. Move! I've got a shot!
I think Garneau has more than just a shot.
Turn back.
Garneau!
You know, blowing yourself up like that would probably be pretty messy.
I think this is dark enough without showing us all the viscera.
Damn it.
Between Kenson and whoever that guy actually is, we've seen a lot of people blow themselves up while indoctrinated.
It's a flashier way of freeing yourself from control instead of just using a gun.
Come quickly.
Javik, you better not tell me something isn't right again.
That human was not the one called Garneau. This is, and he's been dead for a while.
At least a week based off that email he tried to send.
He can have Bryson killed, can take over this colony, and he can use them as puppets. Huh. Anything else useful?
Encrypted data. There's also a personal log with 8 missed calls from someone named Dr. Ann Bryson.
At least someone tried to reach out to Garneau.
Who are you?
You wouldn't happen to be Andrea, would you? I think you might want to sit down for this.
Donald, I don't think this is a good time to tell her that her mom is dead and she missed Christmas.
I feel strange, but all right.
Do you recognize this man?
I've never seen him before in my life.
Someone here killed him.
Someone here? How is that possible? I'm so sorry.
Don't worry about it. Evidently not many people were concerned about him going missing.
What happened to you?
Not really. I remember it just seemed cold. I remember a feeling cold and dark.
If dark was a feeling.
That guy's voice is already deep as hell, like Leviathan still has control.
That artifact, do you know where it came from?
I think you mean that smoking pile of rocks.
Right. Head office was supposed to send someone.
If they sent someone, they're definitely dead somewhere around here again, probably the body in the med bay.
Situation? Can you bring the shuttle?
Affirmative. Strangest thing. A couple of minutes ago, the Reaper forces broke off and left.
There you happy, Caden?
Reaper.
They're going in the opposite direction.
Reaper.
Oh boy, do I have some news for you.
We can prove ourselves this time.
This is
2176.
Nah, sweetheart, you're about a decade off.
2176 was 10 years ago.
What?
I'd low-key be kind of pissed off being awoken into the current situation.
Any major events from 2176 that these people missed, Barry?
Quite a few things happened in 2176. The attack on Elysium and Shepard's war hero origin occurred then. John Grissom Academy was commissioned over the planet as well. 2176 is also the same year James enlisted in the Alliance and when Kai Lang was awarded his N7 designation and was later imprisoned for killing that Krogan. Additionally, the Andromeda Initiative was founded in 2176.
So the answer is yes, a lot of major events.
One other major thing. 2176 was the year the Anher Rebellion occurred on the planet called Anher. To lay out the background details, the planet is a garden world with a heavy population of humans and Batarians.
Well, that's a recipe for disaster if I've ever heard it.
You're right about that, Donald. An association of corporations and corrupt politicians were fearful of Batarian economic competition due to their custom of legalized slavery. To compete with the Batarians, they passed a resolution to abolish the minimum wage, which effectively relegalized slavery for humans on a human-dominated world.
We go to a different planet and decide to fight a civil war over the exact same issues we fought over here in America.
As you might expect, opponents to the decision quickly turned to activism and violence, eventually leading to a civil war. One side, seeking to end slavery throughout the entire Amun system, and another primarily made up of Batarians, sought to keep their slaves.
That's more proof that the Batarians are underhated.
I mean, I'm all for the Batarians, but this whole thing started because some headed politicians and business owners cared so much about competing they decided to remove the minimum wage.
Oh great, Joker is asking about Tiptree.
I'll continue the lore dump after Joker learns his family is probably dead.
Refugee ships from Tiptree landing on Solarian colonies. I don't have names. I'm sorry. It was mostly children.
Well, Gunny, Hillary, my sister. Gunny's the nickname. She's had it since.
Do you think we should tell him?
Can we not put our pilot into emotional distress while he's actively flying the ship?
Good call. As I'm sure you all remember, the Hillary Joker mentions here is the same one A&T Goni was with on Tiptree. She unfortunately had to kill Joker's sister when she broke her leg, and her crying almost gave away their hiding spot to the Reapers.
All right, continue that bit about the Anher Rebellion. I'm actually interested.
About time one of these lore dumps caught your attention, Donald. Like you both said, f*** the Batarians for fighting to maintain their slaves, but f*** the humans in equal measure for trying to compete with the Batarians by essentially legalizing slavery themselves. The Anher Rebellion lasted from 2176 to 2178. The Batarians had a significant advantage in ships, labor, and weaponry. The Anher militias had to hire the Eclipse mercenaries to even the odds.
They have good taste.
The war raged across the entire Amun system. On the planet Neath, the Eclipse suffered their first defeat when the Nahezit, the group that wanted slavery, overwhelmed them with superior force. At the gas giant boss, the Eclipse and Nahezit fought a heavily contested rematch. While both groups claimed victory, the Nahezit lost more ships. Then at last, at the planet Sekhmet, the Eclipse were able to destroy 2 rebel carriers, forcing the Nahezit to retreat. And from this point forward, the Batarians' forces did not have a victory. In the end, the abolitionists were victorious at the cost of much of their infrastructure.
Damn, Mass Effect might give FromSoft Games a run for their money and lore.
I can't believe all of that came from me asking about the year 2176.
The difference is that you find all the lore by reading descriptions of planets instead of items. Just to conclude things on Anher, though. The planet Sobek demonstrated the worst of Batarian slavery. Its low-gravity moons were the site of many labor camps, and these camps did not use Mass Effect fields to keep gravity at a habitable level. This caused widespread bone loss among the slaves there, the final act of degradation by the slavers. The slaves would be crippled if they ever left for a standard gravity world.
Damn, that's actually pretty dark.
The plight of these slaves garnered galactic media attention, and several charities sprung up to pay for their physical therapy and help them find gainful employment. Additionally, the Eclipse mercenaries were painted as heroes despite their typical criminal activities.
I wonder how many of those so-called heroes in the Eclipse we killed during our time in Mass Effect 2.
Probably a lot of them. I'm sure someone like Captain Inyala took part in the Civil War.
Honestly, thinking back on everything I just said, damn, that was one big rabbit hole I just took us down.
Well, for better or worse, yapping is what you're good at.
What do you mean for worse?
He means you ramble too much sometimes, but it's fine. You read all that stuff so the rest of us don't have to. The video game community needs people who are willing to, hyperfixate on that type of stuff.
That's a real polite way of calling him f***ing autistic.
Donald, don't finish that sentence before you get us canceled.
Do you ever feel awkward being the only Turian on the ship?
Good to see Tali and Garrus getting along.
They better not be getting along too well. I just started liking that guy. He better not double-cross me.
This is the dialogue that leads up to Garrus and Tali allegedly hooking up before we head to Earth.
Doesn't that mean we kind of rob our boy of his potential love interest?
Don't worry about it. We'll find Garrus a lady friend when we do the Citadel DLC stuff.
It is pretty funny that arguably the two most popular love interests for male and female shepherd will hook up if you don't date either one of them.
I'm sure tons of female shepherd players are just as adverse to letting Tali have Garrus as male shepherd players are with letting Garrus have Tali.
Yeah, except we have other good options. The next best option for female shepherd is who? Caden or Thane? The latter of which dies.
That asteroid facility was messed up.
It's about time someone else understood where I was coming from.
You're working out there, sending letters to your family back home. Then you wake up.
To be fair, the Asari that was there probably barely noticed that 10 years is like 1 year for them or something.
1 year is still a long-ass time to be out of commission.
We need to shield the artifact they've got here right away.
Why in the hell was the artifact unshielded in the first place?
We needed Garneau's data to shield it.
But that massive piece of Sovereign is shielded. They didn't think to at least try that?
We should just count ourselves lucky that Leviathan wasn't able to take over anyone who's been on the Citadel this entire time.
Damn thing's been here the whole time. Why weren't we affected?
Perhaps the amount of time spent near the artifact is key.
The Leviathan's ability seems like a discount version of Reaper indoctrination.
That's true. Reaper indoctrination is permanent.
I'd call it
Once you're exposed, you're cooked. Whereas the Leviathan's ability only seems to work for as long as you're next to one of these fragments. Once the fragment is destroyed or you're separated from it, it seems like you're good to go.
It just shows we don't know what we're dealing with yet.
Despite the risk, this artifact remains our only link to finding Leviathan. Perhaps we could find more information about it.
Is it time to look for more clues?
It is indeed time to find more clues.
They really making us do this twice in a row.
Hey, the husk head that blew up came back.
Well, that's good. I'm sure Bryson left that for his daughter in her inheritance.
I don't think a screaming head is something anyone wants to get from their deceased father.
I'm just going to leave it alone before it blows up again, or something worse happens.
They were testing the artifact for energy emissions.
And found nothing. Still, I recommend leaving it shielded.
Anything interesting about the artifact structure?
Did no one call attention to the pile of human bones lying on the counter there?
You know, I do think that escaped my notice.
I'm guessing these are bones Bryson pulled out of the corpses of husks.
Got to do anything for science, I guess.
Loch Ness Monster?
Plesiosaur.
Loch Ness Monster is more interesting.
Interesting and non-existent.
I can't believe Edie would deny the existence of the Loch Ness Monster.
Donald, everyone carries a camera in their pockets these days. If the Loch Ness Monster were real, we'd know by now. Also, Bigfoot and the Chupacabra aren't real either.
Okay, dude, just destroy all my hopes and dreams.
Enemy type in the Galaxy of Fantasy video game. It possesses a gaze attack capable of triggering synced animation kills. Player forums describe it as overpowered.
Sounds like a skill issue.
I wish we could have asked Legion about this before he died.
Legion's gaming skills are naturally subject to some scrutiny. In Galaxy of Fantasy, he's been suspected of using a VI Play Assistance to control 27 pets without using macros, as well as suspected of using VI to have better reaction time than organics. He was also suspected of hacking for direct server access because his tactics were so good that he had to know underlying code behavior. All of these were challenged and overturned. The one infraction that Legion did get punished for was unsportsmanlike behavior. He was suspended for 3 days because he was taunting during the Crystal Genophage Elimination Platinum event, which he did win, by the way.
Are you telling me that Legion is a toxic gamer?
Well, maybe there was a little bit of something worth caring about inside that bot after all.
And are you telling me that's what finally got you to warm up to Legion?
It took until he died, but Donald finally showed Legion some respect. It was a modicum of it, but it's there all the same.
There you go, Joe. That's why they didn't shield the artifact.
Yeah, I guess that's egg on my face.
She might have been better off leaving that research behind.
Ann Bryson was attempting to contact Garneau on the asteroid colony. She seems to know something about the artifact.
She's the only one who does. Wherever she is, we have to find her.
She sounded concerned for her safety. If Reaper forces are closing on her position...
Then she might already be dead and we're out of luck.
Thankfully, plot armor is on her side.
Working for Project Scarab. That cluster contains several systems. I'll call up the nebula on the galaxy map. We may also search the lab for clues to narrow down her location.
We're headed to the Zaharan system near the planet called Namakli.
Not even going to bother with the clues this time.
Nah, it's too repetitive.
Okay, so we got reports of an attack on some scientists, right?
Yeah, by an absolute boatload of harvesters.
Right. Edie, can you tell us anything else?
This is the main site of a series of excavations established under Dr. Garrett Bryson. Staff records confirm the project lead is his daughter, Ann.
This better not lead us into another bad dad situation.
Maybe we should have brought Liara along. She has familiarity with dig sites.
I don't think Liara is all too fond of getting her hands dirty anymore. She's stuck in her room typing away on that damn computer.
She's young, Donald. Give her a break. I'm sure she'll grow out of it in about 50 years.
If she's down there, she hasn't responded to our hails. Getting some strange signals, though. Give me a minute.
That artifact she uncovered could be causing trouble. We've already seen what they can do.
Agreed. Take us in closer.
Copy that.
Oh, cool, the Grand Canyon.
We have hostiles!
Take us in.
Commander, on the landing platform!
She looks all right for being under attack by Reapers.
That's her. Okay, let's
Thank God that Harvester decided to use tackle attack instead of just shooting us out of the sky.
Negative, it's too hot. Heading to lower platform. Hang on.
I bet Joker would have gotten us there.
Give Steve a break. He's using a transport vessel, not a warship.
Well, he better transport himself away from those two harvesters.
Immediately greeted with a falling meteor or something, this is going to be a goddamn mess.
Come down. Move. She's somewhere above us.
Coming down on your own would be the single dumbest thing you could do, Doctor.
This is Commander Shepard of the Alliance Navy. It's too dangerous. We'll come to you.
Good Lord, it's a wonder all this stuff didn't collapse.
We're lucky there aren't destructible environments.
Copy that. We're on our way.
You swapped off the ADAS to the Cerberus Harrier?
I've been meaning to use it for a while. It's one of the best assault rifles if held back by its low spare ammo capacity.
Cerberus does make pretty decent guns, all things considered.
Look at all those goddamn worm necks.
We're lucky they're cosmetic.
Well, actually, Joe, they're not entirely cosmetic.
What do you mean by that?
The harvesters will actually occasionally take shots at you during the first half of the mission. And no, it's not coming from an actual harvester that you can target. It's more of an environmental hazard. The shots can penetrate light cover and thin walls, so you might even die if you're passing through one of the buildings.
That sounds really goddamn unfair.
If I remember correctly, you'll be fine as long as you don't stick around in one area too long.
That's correct. If you make it to a new area, you'll get a kind of refresh on the timer.
Are you going to count it if you die to something like that?
I mean, I don't see why not. It might be bullshit, but it's still mostly within my control. If I die, then I die. Simple as that.
It's no different than if you had gotten crushed by the Reaper on Tuchanka.
I guess that's true.
Any regaling tales you want to tell us about this location, Barack, any civil wars, conflicts with mercenaries. Maybe inhabitants of this planet are fighting their own fight with the Reapers?
Nah, this time it's much less of a rabbit hole and more like a small dip in the ground, but there's some interesting bits here all the same. The planet we're on, called Namakli, is an arid but habitable world that was briefly colonized by the Purina Corporation, a group of Asari colonists that socialized Vorcha laborers.
Socialized? You mean the Asari had Vorcha walking around in business suits or something?
I'd let some Asari socialize me any day.
Good, you need it.
Things didn't work out, though. After an economic downturn, many Asari left the planet, leaving the Vorcha behind. Eventually, they started breeding so fast that they outpaced the remaining Asari's ability to educate them. Soon the Vorcha returned to their violent roots, and the colonies basically self-destructed.
So they tried to gentrify the Vorcha, they lost a lot of money, the Vorcha f***ed too much, and things fell apart?
Yes, I suppose that's one way of putting it.
Controls are broken. Someone try to fix it. You got it.
Why in the hell are we letting James do this?
Give me a minute. Why won't you work?
We're going to be here a while.
So are the Vorcha that are still here good, or is it as bad as I think it is?
Nah, it's pretty bad. Namakli is basically a wasteland with a small population of Vorcha packs scattered across the deserts. Anyone trying to settle the planet runs into these packs, which greatly discourages colonization. Plus, there's a lack of complex life and a scarce amount of profitable metals. As such, no one has stepped forward with the will, money, and firepower to set up a permanent colony. The whole of the Zahiran system is much of the same. It's essentially a useless star system.
James is taking a lot of damage for you right now.
It was nice of him to strafe directly in front of me there. And now I run the hell away from this thing.
I think it just executed Garrus.
That's all the more reason to run.
You're really going to leave James behind alone back there after he took that blast for you?
God damn it, fine. I'll go back and help them.
Commander Shepard would never leave his squad behind like that.
Look at that Harrier put in work.
All right, rise and shine, Garrus. James, you low-key carried me there.
You know, thinking about it further, it's probably good that the elevator didn't make it. The last thing we need is for a harvester to take shots on us while we're on this thing.
I feel like the stairs are a safer bet when literally everything around us is falling apart.
You say as I have to jump over a gap in the flooring.
Would you rather take your chances with the elevator?
Now you're completely right. Especially since they could just drop Reaper forces directly at the top of the elevator and box the team in.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, the collector forces look cold as hell.
Those two in the front were straight aura farming.
Can you two not glaze the enemies so much? You're ruining my fighting spirit.
I'm pretty sure you're about to die.
Oh God. All right, Ultra Instinct, give me strength.
Good weave there, Barry.
I cannot believe rolling like that worked.
These cluster grenades are almost as annoying as the regular ones. Bro, again?
Now you know how I felt on Grissom Academy.
I'm coming up there to box this scion that keeps shooting goddamn grenades at me.
Did you account for that possessed collector getting in the way?
What the hell, they have knives?
Don't run away from me, get back up here.
That collector drone had better skills with its knife than Kai Leng does with his stupid little sword.
Well, go on then, Barry, take the fight you wanted.
I may have bitten off a bit more than I could chew here.
I can't help but notice that James and Garrus are not coming up here to help you.
I wonder if they're mad at me.
Well, you left Garrus behind and he ended up getting penetrated by a banshee.
Not the way I would have worded that.
And you almost abandoned James to the same fate after he took damage to protect you like a good tank should.
Okay, I get it. I was the asshole back there. There, finally got it. Now the squad can get along again.
Until you decide to run off without them again.
Commander, they attacked my assistant Hopkins. We're being cornered.
I guess rest in peace to Hopkins, we didn't know you.
But there's too many of them. Hurry.
Sorry, Ann, as cornered as you are, I'm having to climb up wreckage that I can't believe isn't collapsing.
Not to mention the Reapers keep dropping foes in our way.
You've got a bit of an infestation there.
Are those the Seeker swarms?
Yeah, they disable your cooldown-based powers for a bit, and the accuracy of your guns is decreased. No cooldown powers like Nova and the grenades are unaffected.
Why do the collectors start hitting the floating T-pose when they get into a fight?
I guess they have a flair for the dramatic.
To the point that they're willing to die for it.
Oh God, that's a Praetorian back there.
Yeah, have fun with the mods that you installed, by the way.
At least he has both his squad mates for it.
Damn, I kind of wish I had the anti-synthetic rifle right now.
Ann, are you still there?
We're barely hanging on. Hopkins is wounded. Are you close?
We're close enough.
Gotta keep it 100 with you, Ann. Hopkins is not our priority.
Call us back if you're the one that's injured.
Oh, this thing is pulling up quick. And I run away again. What in the actual was that melee Marth grab range?
That thing snatched you right up.
Man, the Praetorian grab attack is brutal.
That was actually completely silly.
What's even more silly is we watched a Praetorian do something like that to the Hadley that was on the Normandy in Mass Effect 2, and it just didn't kill him. He wasn't even wearing armor.
Let's run that back, I guess. Okay, no more screwing around. Everyone unload on this thing.
I'm actually hoping it grabs you again.
It would be pretty funny to see happen twice in a row.
Nope. Get off my teammates. I need them here.
Barry, you're in trouble.
Fuck me. I'm going for it.
You got so lucky there.
Are you still there?
Are you leaving James and Garrus behind again?
No, I've learned my lesson. I'm just trying to get enough space from this damn thing that's chasing me. Damn it, I have to charge.
It's about time.
Risky play there, but it paid off.
All right, now everyone kill it. Shoot the damn thing. Sit your punk ass down.
Let them know, Barry.
You finally got that over with.
You gotta be kidding me.
You killed the Praetorian, but the game isn't done with you yet.
The drive-by on that is insane.
Okay, heal, come out of cover, and just get moving.
So about that plan of yours.
I'm actually being hoed right now.
Go on ahead and unpause. You're not turn-basing your way out of this one.
They really spammed the hell out of you.
That's what it was like when I was on Thessia.
I'm gonna do a swan dive off the roof of the White House in Minecraft.
I don't think secret security is going to let that happen.
If you want to jump do it at your own place, you're not messing up the lawn.
Well, as full of bullshit as that was, it definitely counts. We go again.
Oh, look, you got lucky with the checkpoint again.
You know, I should have just ran away. I would have gotten out of that without dying.
Watching you get blasted by a harvester at the end of the fight definitely won up the Praetorian grabbing you.
I'm glad you're enjoying yourself, Mr. 12 Deaths between 2 episodes.
Kirkwood and Boyles didn't realize they were side characters here. Damn shame. You hate to see it happen.
Where the hell were they even trying to go? All hell is breaking loose out here.
I guess they're up there panicking, which I kind of get, but we're deep into the Reaper War now. They gotta lock in.
It's too late to lock in now, you know, because they're dead.
Roger that.
Oh God, another harvester.
That one came down to hand you a 5th death for the episode, and I want to see it.
I can't even target it.
Understood.
You're lucky it decided to screw off.
Elevator's online. We're coming up.
Please hurry. I think Hopkins is dead.
Well, good. That's 3 less people we have to be accountable for.
He tried to run. I told him not to, but he wanted to help the others.
Don't worry about it. You can't save everyone.
Well, welcome to the sole survivor team, Ann.
Sorry. They didn't
You'll get along well with Garrus.
Doctor, I need you to come with me.
Oh, God. Yes, of course.
All of a sudden, the harvesters don't seem too bothered to shoot at you.
Now, these stupid-ass birds want to be all docile.
I was at another dig site when they attacked. I got back as quick as I could, but what's happening?
It's just a Reaper War, although I haven't seen this many harvesters before.
It is kind of crazy. It seems like the Reapers committed a significant portion of their forces to this.
They didn't even have this many harvesters when they attacked Earth, Palavan, or Thessia.
Is that Leviathan?
Yes. Yes, we think so. It's old, much older than my father thought. And there, as if the natives were under
Quick
its
question.
power.
Why are those eons old cave paintings of humans wielding spears?
I guess they must be some humanoid species that existed in the past.
BioWare don't make humanoid aliens challenge impossible difficulty.
The artifact. Yes, of course. Incredible. It's just ahead. May sound strange, but I'm certain it affects people.
We're well aware of that already.
I've only had a short time to study it.
Not strange at all. Did you find anything?
Not much, but I did learn something about the energy it generates.
Get down!
Well, the Leviathan is probably mad as hell now.
What are they doing?
They've activated it somehow. I've never managed anything.
Doctor?
The doctor is no longer with us.
They've learned too well. The darkness must not be breached.
Shepard! Take it out!
Done it.
You okay? Cortez, we have Ann Bryson. Need a pickup.
Oh, so now we remember to call Cortez when all we need is a pickup.
Copy that.
But when it's stopping Kai Leng from leaving with our key to end the Reaper War, we just go brain dead.
The fact that Cortez has to maneuver the most amount of harvesters ever makes it all the more clear he should have been able to fly over on Thessia.
Fight starts and all hell starts breaking loose.
Look alive, Barry. There's a harvester over there.
I'm not worried about it because this time I can actually interact with it.
Goddamn, the Harrier is serious business.
See, it was light work. The only reason I died is because the game made the harvester not a real enemy.
Those explosions could not be any louder.
I'm not even sure if I was hitting what I was shooting at. The screen was shaking so damn much. All right, Cortez, I'm waiting on you now.
Jesus Christ.
I'm all for a good explosion, but this is getting excessive.
Those of you watching, be thankful we changed the game volume in editing because our ears are being blown out right now. And can Cortez hurry the hell up? The harvester is gone.
Maybe he couldn't have shown up to stop Kai Leng with how long this is taking.
It's about damn time.
I'm definitely knocking a couple stars off the review for the late pickup.
I was hoping the game would show Garrus auto-firing the Black Widow I gave him. James was in the spot instead.
Putting a switch on the Black Widow would be wicked.
Cortez, we're sending you back to flight school.
Give the guy a break. He was in a hornet's nest of flying giraffes that have cannons on their faces.
You okay?
Am I tripping? Or do I hear bugs buzzing in my ear?
I think the collectors might have sent some seeker swarms onto the shuttle.
Leviathan took control of it. We cut the connection before you got hurt.
Leviathan itself? That's incredible.
Most people aren't so calm to hear they've been taken over by a giant space sea monster.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way.
We were hoping you could help us figure out why. But first, Doctor, I have some bad news.
Oh, right, I forgot that was her dad who got shot earlier.
Seeing all her assistants die one after another probably isn't going to make this easier.
Like a rogue, or even a defector. I have to call my father. He'll want to know.
Yikes.
Ann, you need to listen to me, okay?
Okay, there's also something growling out there.
Dead. I'm sorry.
Cortez, I think there may be something clinging to the shuttle.
The collector noises are really pulling me out of what should be a pretty sad moment.
He can't be dead.
We met with him, hoping to find out what he knew. Something happened.
Something happened?
You're not the first to lose control. Your father's assistant. One minute he was fine, but next...
Maybe we shouldn't have exposed Hadley, you know, in case Ann decides to seek some misguided revenge.
Thankfully, she only has beef with Leviathan for her dad's death.
We have to find out what's behind it all. You're the only one who can help us.
Jesus Christ, turn the windshield wiper on and knock that collector off.
I want to see his office.
We'll arrange for transportation. Meet you there.
And back to Bryson's lab for the third time.
I can handle the Reapers that run around, or the ones that crawl, or the ones that shuffle menacingly toward you, but it's the flying ones that give me the creeps.
You know, I might just be in agreement with you now, Garrus.
You'd think Mr. Sniper over there would like getting to shoot down harvesters flying in the sky.
What is it with you and rescuing scientists from dig sites that have been overrun by hostile forces?
It's just a hobby we have.
If you decide to help her take down the Shadow Broker, I'm going to be jealous and somewhat concerned.
She would only be somewhat concerned?
I'm sure Liura has backup plans for if someone tries to take her role, though she probably hasn't counted on Shepard being involved.
Okay, toughest mission.
Grissom Academy.
The Geth Dreadnought.
I think Horizon is a pretty good answer from Garrus.
That was light work.
It is famously an annoying mission, though.
Ran up to us.
Have you ever noticed that I carry a sniper rifle? You're the one who likes things at short range.
Tali is so base for that.
You prefer to keep everything at a distance.
Yikes, she just clocked Garrus there.
Creepiest thing we fought.
That thing was definitely problematic.
I'm going with the Rachni.
Extremely correct answer. I'm glad I cooked it.
No, the little ones. They look like spiders and they...
Hey, Donald, remember when we argued about whether the Rachni were spiders or cockroaches?
Okay, then, if they're spiders, why do they not have 8 legs?
They don't have 6 legs either. Why are you calling them roaches?
All right, smartass, you win.
They're alien bugs. They don't need to conform to our classifications.
Find Leviathan before the Reapers do.
Another harvester keeps me from dropping you off on the target LZ, so help me.
I would have had a much easier time otherwise.
Roaches push you around?
Did he just call the harvesters roaches?
Can we please not hyperfixate on this?
It's like sending you against the Earth invasion armed with brass knuckles.
What, you don't think I could do it?
James, I'll give you every credit to our name if you run up and punch a Reaper with brass knuckles.
I think he could do it. It's the run back from the Reaper that's going to be the problem.
I don't know the scientific measurement of a shitload, but that seemed like a shitload of harvesters.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Hello? Ann? Are you here?
This is probably going to be a bad time.
At least there isn't a collector enemy making noises while Ann mourns her father this time.
Ann?
Oh, Commander. Yes, I'm sorry. Just...
Notice how the acting here is far better than when you find out your dad dies in Andromeda.
Nah, you don't get it, Donald. Their faces are just really tired. They can't be blamed for having a worse emotional range than the animatronics from Five Nights at Freddy's.
I appreciate your enthusiasm. There will be plenty of time to complain about Andromeda when we get to it.
Yes. It was trivial. A disagreement on how to file some of the specimens. I was mad about something else. I don't remember what. And I took it out on him. So stupid.
I do feel for you here, Ann, and in any other circumstance I'd leave you up here alone to grieve in peace. But the Reapers are harvesting millions of fathers all over the galaxy. So I'm going to need you to lock back in.
I understand. But we really need your help.
I know. I'm just a little lost. Seeing all this again. He was so obsessed.
We really needed that obsession 3 years ago.
I didn't get a chance to know him.
Oh, sometimes I felt the same way.
There is no way this is another bad dad scenario.
He was a great man. A pioneer. But he could be distant. I felt like an inconvenience growing up.
It's probably not as bad as Ronald Taylor or Thane. Probably more of a Rail Zora type situation.
Still am, I guess. But sometimes he was so full of stories, he nearly burst. I loved that about him. It's why I signed up for this work. I can't believe he's gone.
We'll get back for him after the Reaper War.
We were going to need to do that regardless. There's no way we're letting those Leviathans stick around.
I need to know what's on the other end of that artifact. What he died for.
Sounds like a plan. Get fired up about it.
Then help us hunt down whatever's responsible. You're our last chance.
Okay. If anyone can sort through this mess, it's me.
That's what we like to hear.
Ann, you sure you're up for this?
Yes. When Leviathan took control of me, I remember being somewhere cold and dark. But my father taught me to never be afraid of the dark.
You're better than me.
I'm still amazed your father got his hands on a piece of a Reaper.
Still don't get how he pulled that off.
Your claims validated years of work.
Then where the hell was he when we needed him?
Steps to prevent indoctrination.
Of course. It was completely shielded, and we all had regular psyche valves.
How did we even figure out what shields block indoctrination? Also, that doesn't account for when you first found it.
I seriously doubt the pieces of Sovereign actually have the ability to indoctrinate people. The Turians took its main gun and they're all fine. The Reapers most likely need to be largely intact.
I wrote my dissertation on them. My father thought it was a waste of time, but now...
Interesting thing to write a dissertation on. The Rachni have been extinct for thousands of years or something, right?
The Rachni wars were over 2,000 years ago. We don't have the exact year, but yeah, it's been a while.
I wonder if we should tell her about what I did on Noveria.
Uses pheromones to give orders.
I'm sorry, did she just say telepathy doesn't exist?
Biotics are personally fine, but telepathy? Nah, can't have that.
Again, there is an attempt to scientifically link biotics to science and natural biology. Telepathy would just be magic, which is what makes the synthesis ending all the more out of place.
Well, look who decided to come crash the party.
Hey, loco. Need a hand?
What brings you down here, James?
Saw what happened to Ann back at the dig site. That ain't right.
Well, make yourself comfortable.
James says he saw what happened to Ann, even if you don't take him to Namakli.
We didn't detect any energy emissions from the artifact.
James is getting a bit close to the husk head.
If it explodes again, it's on him.
My theory is that most of the time, the artifact simply acts as a receiver. We'll only be able to trace Leviathan through it when it actively takes control of someone.
as it did on the asteroid.
Commander, you see this thing?
I would advise not messing with that thing, buddy.
Unless it needs something.
It's not as fun as it seems.
I guess it and my father had something.
That's not good.
You said Leviathan's
Hey,
control
Edie,
was similar to a
husk
quantum
bites,
entanglement communicator.
they don't turn you into a
which is
husk or
untraceable.
anything, right?
Nope, we got to kick James off the Normandy.
I recommend you apply Metagel.
Ann and Edie are over there having a serious conversation while James gets himself bit by a husk as Shepard watches in silence.
The boys are always doing the fun stuff.
Right. Just like at the dig site. The Reapers were tracing the signal by
And James is still over there standing entirely too close to the head.
that dig site. He was getting too old for long digs, but he hated being stuck in the lab.
Bryson did look old as hell.
Some people still end up aging the same way we do now for who knows what reason.
His field gear.
John Grissom was noted as looking his age before he died, unlike Kaylee Sanders, who barely looks over 30, even though she's pushing 50 in Mass Effect 3.
But if there's anything more you can tell us.
I don't think there's anything more I can tell you. But maybe I can show you.
What are you saying?
The artifact only sends out a signal when Leviathan's controlling someone. So let it control me. You could trace the signal.
Let's just make sure Ann doesn't have any firearms nearby.
I don't like it, but we're out of options.
You know better than I do what Leviathan's capable of when threatened. I know it's a long shot, but I have to do this. You're looking for something to fight the Reapers, Commander. I'm looking for the monster that murdered my father.
We still don't know what we're looking for.
Then let's find out.
I respect her determination. Not a bad side character.
Commander, this thing we're doing with Ann sounds dangerous as hell.
It doesn't even register on the most dangerous things we've done in Mass Effect 3, never mind the whole trilogy.
Waiting for activation.
This is pretty gutsy.
This can go pretty bad, can't it?
Yes, when Ann connects with the artifact, there will be 2 renegade interrupts to stop James from raising the barrier. The first one you can take without any risk, but if you hit the second one, Ann will be put out of commission and you won't get her contributions to the war.
Yet another scenario where being renegade is worse.
Yeah, the only thing you get is to narrow the search so you find Leviathan's exact location, which is on 2181 Despoina, which you know isn't worth it compared to you getting Ann's 20 points to the war.
There's something. I feel a chill.
Edie?
No trace yet.
Holy hell!
James, lock in. You're like 3 times her size.
Turn back. The darkness can't be breached.
The darkness isn't ready for when we shine a flashlight on it.
Connection.
Listen to me. I found you, and the Reapers are right behind me.
You have brought them.
You are a threat.
Please don't shatter all the glass in here.
I've seen what you can do. The war needs you.
There is no war. There is only the harvest.
Edie, do we have enough?
Partial lock. Maintain connection to narrow the search.
You heard her. We got enough. I'm hitting the shield.
Nah, don't do that yet.
Belay that, Lieutenant.
But you already know where it is.
Yeah, but I want to hear the dialogue.
Bro's thirst for dialogue is so great he'll let Ann have a seizure for it.
The cycle cannot be broken.
You're wrong.
Focusing the point of origin. Maintain connection to narrow the search.
I'm stopping this!
Okay, her brain is starting to leak out of her nose. We'll cut it here.
Does Leviathan say anything else if you stop James?
Nothing much, really. The Leviathan just says it's beyond the reach when Shepard asks where it is. The glass shatters again and Ann is completely unresponsive. James also seems to be upset with us for pushing her so hard.
Sure. It hurts.
It's gonna be okay. You did great. Edie, did we get anything?
Yes, Shepard, but it will take time to search. Coordinates sent to the Normandy.
Thankfully, we already know where to go.
Be worth it.
Agreed, Lieutenant. Anything else, Ann?
It was dark. Cold. I can tell you this much. Leviathan is angry.
It knows we're getting close.
I think it wants to kill you.
Tell it to get in line.
We killed a Reaper on foot not that long ago. And we've already died once. I'm not worried about it.
Barry, you remember we're going underwater, right?
Oh, fuck.
Cortez, what's the status on the probe we launched?
I'm looking forward to seeing you dive underwater here.
I'm going to hate this.
Barry, aren't you from Hawaii? Shouldn't you be good with the water?
There's a difference between swimming at the beach and diving thousands of meters underwater.
What are we expecting to find?
Bryson's team called it a Reaper killer. From what we've seen, it doesn't want to be found.
It doesn't have a choice. We're here.
And the Reapers are right behind us.
If it's a Reaper, even one that went rogue, do we really want help from something like that?
We're not gonna win this war by turning away help, even if it does have blood on its hands.
A rogue Reaper wouldn't be the only morally questionable thing we've recruited to fight in the war.
Location. You're not gonna like it.
Let's hear it.
There's nothing but ocean.
The worst possible outcome.
A bunch of lava would be
On the
worse.
surface, but the probe's giving us a signal below that. Way below.
Underwater?
Looks that way. The shuttle should still be able to reach it.
That's possible?
The Kodiak is spec'd to nearly 1,000 atmospheres, but I've never actually tested that.
Is that actually enough to get us to Leviathan?
Leviathan is about 3,200 meters underwater, which should equate to a pressure of 320 atmospheres. So we have plenty of margin for error.
Well, we won't be getting to test it in the Kodiak.
Damn, we were not wearing our seatbelts when we crashed. That had to hurt.
I think our body armor has us covered.
We're lucky we landed on something solid instead of hitting the ocean.
Everyone all right?
My suit's intact. Maybe a few bruises under it.
We'll check those bruises out after the mission.
Checking now. I'll see if I can get power restored.
Copy that. We'll look around.
Look at all this. Whatever that pulse was, we're not the first to get hit.
Could be Leviathan's last line of defense.
Being stranded at sea on a planet where no one can show up to save you would definitely be one rough way to go.
2181 Despoina was only recently spotted by human space probes, evident by its year of discovery being in the name. The people who crashed here had a rough go of things before they inevitably died, evident by the data pads we find scattered about.
Any idea how old these are?
Difficult to say. If there was equipment around, I could get a reading.
They gotta be at least 5 years old.
The data pads tell a pretty haunting tale with an even more haunting conclusion. The first one is written by at Tunbrooks. The crew of the MSV Monarch, which must be the vessel we're on, had a hell of a landing into the water, but everyone survived. Their captain, called Pratt, had them break out the champagne to keep spirits up.
Chris Pratt's descendant was here.
The technicians on the Monarch attempt to solve the problem, but every attempt to get airborne fails. In the following log made by someone named Shen, they say they have no idea what's causing the problem, and without a distress beacon, they have no chance of escaping. There is talk of rationing supplies, and that Captain Pratt has ordered them to collect rainwater and set up tents. Brooks also talks about using the Triton mech's weapons to try blast fishing, but no one has seen any fish. Chen ends the emails wishing they were an optimist.
The outlook does not look good.
The third log, written by Dr. Chai Lin, details how they only have 2 days of rations left. Brooks apparently sent a drone to the bottom of the ocean, and it came up with some bioluminescent plant life, none of it edible. But that didn't stop 2 people named Romero and Mullins from trying to plants anyway. As you might expect, they began constant vomiting, wasting the precious fresh water they have.
If we had a nickel for every time we had people eat toxic plants after crash landing on an uninhabited planet, we'd have 2 nickels.
Shen led a small team on a raft over to the other nearby wreckages, and they came back with what Dr. Lin describes as some spheres.
And they're cooked.
In the 4th log, Captain Pratt talks about how someone called Ramos was the first death. He apparently tried throwing one of the spheres overboard, and Shen, plus 3 or 4 other crewmen, started beating the hell out of him. Captain Pratt held a funeral to keep order, and he notes that the crew wanted to eat Ramos's body to solve their food issue. To compromise, Pratt suggested leaving Ramos's body tethered in the water to attract scavenging animals for food. And if he doesn't get a bite in 3 days, they'll cut him loose as a water burial.
Goddamn, you weren't kidding about how bad this got.
The final log, written by someone named Encarna Camacho, is truly the haunting one. Captain Pratt apparently tried locking himself inside the ship, screaming about how he had to fix things. Camacho explains, and I quote, "We were gentle, 1 person for each limb. We let him rest on the sphere. Sometime in the middle of the night he came around, and now he agrees. We won't leave. Why would we?" Camacho says this will be his last entry. He ends it with saying, "It's so good not being hungry anymore."
So they ate Captain Pratt?
It sure seems that way.
And then they all died here cold and alone anyway.
Worst part is, pretty much every vessel here must tell a similar story.
Look, up there!
Well, let's all look on the bright side. We won't have to eat each other because a Reaper is coming down to kill us instead.
Isn't it kind of weird that the Reaper isn't shooting at us?
It's probably more concerned with finding Leviathan, I suppose. You're killing me here, Steve.
Give the guy a break. He's working as fast as he can.
You know, a Reaper came down through orbit and the Normandy apparently didn't follow.
That's for the best. The last thing we need is the Normandy of all ships joining this graveyard.
For some reason, Leviathan is choosing to not down the Reaper, though.
It probably wants the Reapers to kill us, you know, since we're trying to breach the darkness. It will most likely down the Reaper ship as soon as we're dealt with.
What's really funny right now is that the Reapers didn't bring their insane flock of harvesters. When they finally found the location of the Leviathan, it's like they cared more about getting Ann than they did about finding their eons-old enemy.
And for that I am eternally grateful. I am not trying to deal with harvesters right now.
Cortez, what happened to almost there?
Out of development, Commander. Fixing it now.
This is why you always overestimate how much time you need for something.
Cortez, I need that bird in the air.
Even Shepard is starting to get impatient.
We don't pay the guy enough for all this backseating.
Now that you mention it, are we paying any of the non-Alliance members of the crew right now?
Well, Liara probably has access to her own funds through her shadow broker connections. Garrus is seemingly back in with his own military and works directly with Primarch Victus, so he's getting paid through there. Tali also has her own funds too, I'm guessing.
Well, even if she doesn't, we've got her covered.
What about Javik?
Does he even have a position on the Normandy? Tali is in engineering, Garrus works the forward battery, and Liara is on intelligence.
Aside from joining us on ground operations? Nah, Javik doesn't have any role, which means he's basically unemployed. Which we can't exactly blame him for, given that he's over 50,000 years old. Gramps is on retirement.
Does Edie count as Alliance, or is she technically non-Alliance?
She is literally Alliance property.
That feels wrong, but I suppose it is correct. Makes me wonder what the hell Joker and Edie are going to do after all this ends.
The Alliance can have the ship, Joker gets the body.
The body has to stay within the Normandy's radius, otherwise it's probably just a hunk of metal with titties on it.
As if there's another pilot in the Alliance who could fly the Normandy better than Joker. It's him or the ship is grounded, point blank, period.
Another pulse hit me. Flight control scrambled.
We probably should have seen that coming after reading the data pads.
Well, it's time for Cortez to put that body armor to work for once.
Hopefully he's as good on the ground as he is in the skies.
Commander, I've got enemy contact. Under fire.
This time it's your turn to wait while I get to you. I'm almost there, Cortez.
That's real petty of you, bro.
I can be a petty bitch from time to time.
Status.
All right, Steve, I hope you've enjoyed your taste of action.
That pulse knocked it right out of the air. We're not going anywhere.
So who do we eat first?
I mean, Cortez would be first on the list.
We're really coming after Cortez this episode for no reason.
If we'd brought James, I'd say we eat him first. There's more to go around.
Of course it doesn't want to land directly on us when I'm not playing.
Then we aren't getting out of here until we find it. So how do we do that?
Well, you might be able to use a mech. Looks like it's rigged for diving.
And just like that, you've lost me.
Come on, Barry, deep sea diving can't be that bad.
It's a Triton
Didn't the guy who made the Avatar movies go down once?
Please tell me you're not talking about the one that should not be named.
No, Donald, the movie with the tall blue people, not the one made by the guy who made The Sixth Sense.
Bro said deep sea diving isn't that bad. Tell that to the folks who were on the Titan submersible. Oh wait, you can't.
Barry, I understand your concerns, but I don't think the mech we're using will be piloted with a Logitech controller. We'll be fine.
These old Ballard-class ships are equipped with exterior power sockets. They use them for emergency repairs. We can strip the cells from the shuttle and use those for juice. Hang on, I'll get you started.
Are you telling me we're powering this suit using power cells that have been sitting out here in the elements for 5 years? Also, how long have these mechs been out here? How do we know they're not rusted or something?
Bro, you're literally speaking your fears into existence.
I'm just saying this is a horrifically dangerous thing to do.
You realize that if we don't do this, we're doomed to starve to death on this ship. Or be killed by the Reaper's forces, whichever happens first.
I think dying either of those two ways is preferable to dying in the cold emptiness of the ocean. All right, I guess I have to get into this damn thing.
Cortez said this thing was good for deep sea exploration, but can it withstand 1,000 atmospheres like the Kodiak?
Now, why would you ask me that question?
You're scaring him even more, Donald.
I'm just asking for more fun facts, that's all.
Well, the Triton at least appears capable of withstanding the depths we need to reach in order to get to Leviathan, so it must shape out in the end.
All right, Commander. Let's get you out of there, and I'll do a systems check.
Shepard, are you sure about this?
No, Tali. No, I'm not.
At least she's worried about
Too far to
us.
stop now. The way home is through Leviathan.
Okay, SEALs check out. Oxygen pressure is nominal. Systems are a go. It's as ready as I can make it.
Cortez, are you sure you don't want to go down instead while I stay up here?
Bro, Leviathan is not going to listen to Cortez. We're the main character. We're the one who has to go.
I'll be fine.
Nice of them to give you a moment with your romance option here.
Well, we're about to face what should be certain death.
This is no more dangerous than both the times we ran around a Reaper on foot, the journey through the Omega-4 relay, or the battle with Sovereign on the Citadel.
I disagree. All those other times we weren't going to be thousands of meters under fucking water.
Commencing dive in 3, 2, 1.
God have mercy on our soul. And I already hate it. This is literally the scariest thing in the whole damn game.
Hey, Joe, maybe we should play Subnautica next time.
Good luck, I can't get Barry to go anywhere near it.
You're right, poor guy would probably have a heart attack if he saw any of the Leviathan-class organisms, which is an oddly convenient thing to bring up considering what we're about to meet.
It's even more convenient that one of them is called a Reaper Leviathan.
I really don't want to know anything about the sea monsters in that game, thanks. And oh my fucking god, it's so dark down here.
Yes, as it tends to be deep underwater.
Did you think the Leviathan's thralls were joking when they said things were dark?
Bro, at least if you get stranded in outer space, you can watch the stars as you await your imminent demise. Down here, you just have to look at pitch black nothingness.
Don't you remember what Ann said? Don't be afraid of the dark.
Her father told her that, and I barely saw my own dad, so I can't relate.
Wait, hold on. No goddamn way does the daddy issue thing extend beyond our squad mates.
Maybe BioWare wasn't too far off giving Jacob the disappeared dad thing.
Please, for the love of God, do not compare my upbringing to Jacob's. That he and I both have bad dads is purely coincidence.
Well, if it makes you feel better, you've done pretty well with your girls, so maybe Jacob will end up being a decent dad to his and Bryn's kid after all.
Thank you, Joe. That was almost enough to make me forget I'm in the deep sea.
I guess it's nice that there are plants that glow down here.
We're lucky. There's no deep sea creatures down here to threaten us.
The giant fucking Leviathan isn't enough of a threat?
Read me up there. Looks like I finished the major descent. Can't see much from here. Suit is holding up.
Holding up is not exactly comforting to hear.
I like to imagine Shepard is just speaking to himself because he's actually scared.
Is it bad that we're already in the red on the right there?
Donald, I am begging you, stop pointing things like that out.
Juice the emergency thruster will need to get me back to the surface. Can't worry about that now.
What the fuck you mean we can't worry about that now? Why didn't we worry about that before we jumped?
Imagine we get halfway up and the thrusters just give out.
I'd rather not use my imagination for that.
This episode has probably been the toughest for Barry thus far, and he only died 4 times.
Give me Pharaoh's Horizon, the Collector Vessel, the Dead Reaper, and Grissom Academy over this any day of the week.
What is that?
It's imminent death, probably.
Finally, we can get this over with.
You know, I've been meaning to ask, are we going to shit all over the information revealed in the upcoming conversation?
I don't know if I'm going to slander it exactly, but I've definitely got a thing or two to say about Leviathan and its explaining of the Reaper's origin.
I'm glad your fear of the deep, dark ocean hasn't damped your overly critical nature.
I'll give it one thing, though. This atmosphere is crazy.
Yeah, tell me about it.
I had to find you.
That thing is massive.
I don't know if there's an exact size listed, but I think it's a safe bet that they're roughly as big as the Reaper destroyers based on the comparison between it and the mech we're in.
One that seeks our extermination.
You know, we didn't account for what happens if the Leviathan takes control of us.
I figured we'd just worry about that later.
They are only echoes. We existed long before.
Then what are you?
Something more.
They're coming after Javik's crown for aura farming.
Wait, who the hell is that?
Anderson?
Isn't this supposed to be Ann?
The diversification mod replaces the NPCs we meet in the Leviathan DLC with some familiar faces that have more of an impact.
All right, I might end up locking in for this conversation.
This is as cool as the Dreams Remade thing.
You took down a Reaper. You could help us win this war. Why the hell are you hiding down here?
There is no war. There is only the harvest.
The real Anderson would never be so cowardly.
None have possessed the strength.
Whoa, now that's a blast from the past.
Now Saren might be the one to say there is no war, only the harvest.
But you are different.
Hey Donald, look at your ex.
Joe, shut the fuck up.
The destruction of Sovereign, the fall of the Collectors, the Reapers perceive you as a threat. And I must understand why.
It's because we're him, obviously.
If you were him, you wouldn't be so afraid of the ocean.
Oh great, now our nose is bleeding.
That's the least pressing thing that's happening to us right now.
Before the cycles, our kind was the apex of life in the galaxy.
There's something funny about Saren sitting with his legs tucked in like that.
It'd be cute if you weren't covered in Reaper implants.
We grew more powerful and they were cared for, but we could not protect them from themselves.
So first things first, the Leviathans, despite holding power over these lesser species, couldn't just stop them from building machines.
This problem, we created an intelligence with a mandate to preserve life at any cost.
And that's where they screwed up.
How fucking stupid do you have to be to design an automated system that is meant to accomplish something at any cost? Like it's obviously going to take some extremely unfavorable measures to reach its goals.
In that instant, it betrayed us.
Wow, really? Who could have possibly seen that coming?
The intelligence evidently was valid in doing so, considering the Leviathans made the exact same mistake that their subjects made.
You built that machine despite what you saw the other races experience. Why?
Because the Leviathan are as dumb as the Vorcha.
Of a galaxy that bends to your will. Every creature, every nation, every planet we discovered became our tools. We were above the concerns of lesser species. The intelligence was envisioned as simply another tool.
So these shit-headed aliens thought they were too good to suffer the same consequences as all the other organics.
It still serves its purpose.
Even with eons to reflect, these idiots won't admit to a mistake that their ancestors made. Literally, an uncountable amount of intelligent life has suffered immensely, all because these clowns couldn't accept that they wouldn't get tribute from their subjects.
This also kind of retroactively makes the Reapers seem less cool. They're just robots made by some organic species forever ago, and they only slaughter the cycles because of what basically amounts to a programming error.
All they had to do was tell it, find a solution to the machine problem that doesn't involve harming organic species.
And to be clear about something here, obviously the Reapers had to have some kind of origin point. I just wish it wasn't yet another rogue AI origin.
I was perfectly fine with the Reapers just being robots that believed they were the superior form of life. I don't think there needed to be any grandiose reasoning beyond that.
Today, we reach out through the fragments and watch for discovery.
Fragments? You mean the artifacts we found?
They provide a window into the galaxy. Tools for exploring the events of this cycle from the safety of this world. Through them, we watch. We study and remain in the shadows.
They're cowards. Javik and his Prothean army saw the horrors of the Reaper battle for centuries and still tried to load up an army 1 million strong into bunkers so they could come back to prepare this current cycle for a rematch.
From organic life in the cosmos, it created an army of pawns that searched the galaxy, gathering this data.
And you didn't, monitor it just in case?
I feel like we're doing the CinemaSins thing right now.
Maybe, but I can't help myself.
I don't think it's overly critical to point out how incompetent the Leviathan species is, especially when they haven't recognized it. We've been coming after the Asari and Solarians all game.
The Asari and Solarians pale in comparison to this.
Perfect in its design, each formed in Harbinger's image. Our image.
Of course, they think the design is perfect when it's actually monstrous.
Organics. Over countless cycles, this ability was refined, perfected, and gave rise to indoctrination.
Their machine even took their special domination power and made it better.
The intelligence has one purpose. Preservation of life. That purpose is not being fulfilled.
Good Lord, preserving life by turning it all into biomass and pumping it into metal shells shaped like Cthulhu is a very interesting method.
For greatest efficiency, the galaxy itself became an experiment. Evolution its tool.
Will it ever end?
Unknown. Until the intelligence finds what it's looking for, the harvest will continue.
How do we know it's not looking for you? Maybe we should expose this little hiding spot.
We have watched its construction before. It has never been completed.
I guess it's time for Commander Shepard to do the impossible once again.
Yep, do the impossible, see the invisible.
Okay, you made your point. Will you help stop the cycle?
I have searched your mind. You are an anomaly, yet that is not enough.
You willing to bet on that you cuttlefish?
The cycle will continue.
No. You've been watching. You know this cycle is different.
This whole cycle has been in uncharted territory since the Protheans on Ilos delayed the Reaper invasion.
Servant of our needs. The Reapers will harvest the rest.
If you release me, no one has to be harvested.
Buddy, we are not letting you keep us down here when Tali is up there waiting for us.
You're responsible for this.
It's time for some talk no
Every
jutsu.
race that's ever been destroyed is because of you. And now the Reapers will destroy you too. Unless you start fighting. Even if you survive the battle today, the Reapers won't stop. Ever. Release me and we have a chance to end this, once and for all.
Now that's a patented Commander Shepard speech.
I guess it didn't work.
Damn, we are not looking good.
Shepard is going to have one hell of a kink in his neck after this.
Oh cool, there's more than one of them.
I've always assumed there's more than just the 3 we see here. There's got to be enough to keep a sustained population in these seas.
Your confidence is singular.
I've earned it. Out there fighting, where you should be.
It is clear why the Reapers perceive you as a threat. Your victories are more than a product of chance.
I mean, we did literally die once.
Don't sweat the small details, Joe.
Or any lesser race. We were the first, the apex race. We will survive. And the Reapers who trespass on this world will understand our power. They will become our slaves. Today, they pay their tribute in blood.
Commander Shepard's charisma knows no bounds. We just convinced a species that's eons old to get back into the fight.
Is anyone else concerned with the fact that the Leviathan just implied it views the other alien species as inferior and explicitly called itself the apex race?
If these clowns want to start something, we'll take care of it. We'll put a fucking Coca-Cola factory down on this bitch on God. Let's see how apex they are when their ocean is full of microplastics.
They might be able to take over the minds of organics using their fragments, but they've got nothing on humanity's greatest weapon, pollution.
This is just as unsettling going up as it was going down.
All right, Barry, calm down. No more deep-sea diving from here out.
I forgot these two had to hold the line while we were down there.
Tally's Geth plasma shotgun sure does sound a little weird.
Forget putting a switch on the Black Widow. Turning the Geth plasma shotgun into an automatic is the real play.
This is a really bad time for the brutes to be looking at us.
I guess Leviathan can keep the Triton.
Does anyone want to lend a hand? Thank you.
If it can just take over Reaper troops like this, it's had no reason to not get involved with the battle.
The bear hug they just shared was kind of cute.
Shepard's back. Cortez, status.
We're good to go. I don't know what the commander did, but the pulse is offline.
Good, let's get out of here before Leviathan changes its mind.
Damn, Tali means serious business right now.
She must have been worried sick.
Even when she's on the shuttle, she's still firing. Girl is out for blood.
Damn it, we got a Reaper inbound.
So now the Reaper wants to do something.
Well, it's been a good run, fellas.
So they can also just make Reapers completely glitch out through their fragments. How the hell did the Catalyst even beat them to start the initial harvest?
I'm pretty sure that was a capital class Reaper ship too, so it no diffed one of the big boys.
Shepard, wake up! He's freezing.
Yeah, it was pretty cold down there.
Well, at least it wasn't as bad as suffocating in space.
Are you all right?
Honestly, Tali, no, we're not all right.
Yeah, I'm fine. Hell of a headache.
Yeah, who knows how long we were knocked out with your neck positioned like that. A headache is to be expected.
I've got Ann Bryson on the comm.
Good.
As I'm sure you figured, Ann would not be available to talk if you pushed her too hard when we were looking for Leviathan.
Feeling better?
Yes, thank you. I'm doing fine. What happened?
As it turns out, every bad thing that's happening right now is the fault of some old-ass fish.
Was it worth
It was worth it as far as the fact that we're going to need to glass this place once the Reapers are gone.
But we proved it can't hide anymore. That it's a part of this war, just like us.
Sounds like an amazing story.
And I'm sure the Council won't believe any of it until the Leviathan start their invasion in Mass Effect 5.
Bro, if the enemy of Mass Effect 5 is the Leviathan, I'm writing the game off immediately.
Please, God, just give us a smaller scale enemy, the Yaga right there.
Has asked me to join his scientific team. We all have our part to play. I should get to it.
Take care, Ann. And Thanks for all your help. Shepard up.
Commander, I finished reading your report.
How exactly are the Leviathan helping out in the war, by the way?
The Leviathan enthrallment team is made up of a mixed species team of special operations soldiers that are tasked with delivering Leviathan artifacts behind enemy lines. This will allow the Leviathan to turn the Reaper's creatures into thralls. The aim is to cause chaos and disruption in the short term, and to form an army of Reaper creatures meant to take out their own kind in the long term.
I don't know about spreading the Leviathan's artifacts throughout the galaxy and leaving them in close proximity with our own people.
Well, that's a problem for a different commander, Shepard, as we've reached the end of a fire episode.
You're right, we have. And I think something needs to be called attention to.
What is it now?
Barack died 4 times, which puts him at 25. I have 26 deaths, and Joe has 27.
Oh, damn, I guess things are really starting to get close.
Nah, I've got this in the bag.
I'm about to be manifesting your downfall for next time, Joe.
Well, while the 2 bottom feeders there pray to their gods, I'll sign us out. Stay safe out there, drink plenty of water. I'm serious about that. It's hot as hell out here. Get some sleep, and we'll see you on the next one.